Well, hello and welcome to Fuquay-Varina United Methodist Church. My name is Owen. I'm one of the pastors here, if we haven't had a chance to meet yet, and we're glad you're here. We know that life can get crazy, and sometimes we have to find time to worship during the week, and so we have crafted this worship opportunity just for you. We know, nothing's perfect, but whenever you're worshiping and wherever you're worshiping, we're glad that we can be here worshiping together. If you are with us for the first time or you'd like to let us know you're here, if they just got questions we can follow up with, we'd love for you to text us, send the word hello to the number that's right here at the bottom of your screen. We'd love to get back in touch with you as soon as we can to see how we can connect or help solve whatever it is that you've got for us. So don't hesitate to reach out. Also, if this is an opportunity that you regularly participate in and you'd like to partner with us in mission and ministry, we'd love to have that partnership with you as we serve our greater community here around Fuquay-Varina. You can go to our website, fvumc.org/give. And we'd love, again, any sort of support that you can offer will help us continue to do this and do it well. And so you can check that out while you're there. Anything that you need, hopefully, will be right there on our website. Particularly if you're looking for other worship opportunities, you'll be able to see those on our worship page. And again, we're just so glad you're here, and we hope that you find something meaningful, something you can hang your hat on this week as we participate in worship together.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you.
You're working, you never stop working, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are.
Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are.
Hello everyone, I'm very happy, very blessed to be sharing this message with you on this fabulous sermon series. And as we continue with our conversation, I want to come back to the image that Pastor Owen shared about the bulletin board in the adult wing last week. He talked about how someone was walking by it and that person saw this message reflecting the image of God, and they thought to themselves, no, I don't. And after having that thought, they saw the second part of the board saying, yes, you are. It's fascinating to me. It can be easy to walk through life encountering messages in bulletin boards, in scriptures and conversations, in which we are reminded that we are reflecting the image of God, but yet there is always a cultural context informing how we understand and how we respond to those statements, to those communications. Sometimes we even have been told for so long that for one reason or another, we don't or we cannot recognize God's divine image in ourselves. Not so long ago, I was waiting to be served in a restaurant, and small talk turned into a big theological conversation without even realizing it. I shared that I'm a pastor in the area and I will be preaching on my church in this sermon series, and then the curiosity of this person blew my mind, as she had never heard that both men and women reflect the image of God. Is your church one where one is not more important than the other one? That's what she asked. Are you saying that I'm reflecting God? Am I a reflection of God? And as she asked this question, I thought back to this bulletin board, and I thought to the same moment, yes, you are a reflection of God. And I feel like it's important that we have these kind of conversations, that this conversation, this questioning happen, because questioning why you struggle to see that reflection in yourself is a good place to start. Questioning why you struggle to see the value and God's reflection in the one around you, the one that looks differently, the one that acts differently than you, that might be a second good step. And as I interrogate myself on this matter, I come to the realization that we all want to avoid the pain of being only a number. We all want to be recognized and to be cherished as somebody, as someone important. This is very clear when we see Generation C and Generation Alpha. They seek and desperately look to be seen, looking to belong to something bigger than themselves. Statistics say that those generations won't trust traditional institutions as we other generations do, and this might be one of the reasons why they struggle to connect with religion, with this institution that has been part of their lives. However, we need to recognize that they are not the only ones. We see this on how marketing campaigns work. For example, brands do this all the time. They know we all want to belong, so they invite youth and adults to be part of this experience that they are promoting, whether they are invited to inviting you to create your own Nikes, where you are invited to share a Coke with your friend's name on it, or even when you are invited to share this viral dance on TikTok. The goal is to recognize the individual's value, and because this is considering the human necessity of belonging. And of course, this desire to belong is not something new. It's in John, we can see this in scriptures, in the passage that we are talking about today. In John 4, we find this Samaritan woman who is in deep need. She wants to belong. In the Greek word that we read here, that suggests that Jesus is moving according to divine necessity. He is called to go to Samaria in verse 4. Jesus' decision to go there and to talk to a woman, to talk to these Samaritan women, is a bold move that a bold move to cross boundaries and to extend God's activity to include those who are related to the Jews, but those who have been alienated for a very, very long time. Jesus is reaching out to the ones whose society says that they don't belong. And throughout history, we know that Jews and Samaritans were not very friendly to each other. In fact, Jews felt justified in their hatred and mistreatment of Samaritans because they were a mixed race who practiced an impure, half pagan religion. They received only 5 books of Moses, but rejected the writing of the prophets and all the other Jewish traditions, and because of that, laws in which they were not to live in the same towns, socialize, or eat together had existed for many, many years. And this, in this context, being a woman was even more challenging because every woman was to be kept from community during her menstrual cycle. And anyone who came in contact with these women or anything that these women will touch or during the time that she was unclean, that other person was also declared unclean. And this like the end of all this is like, for a Jewish decree, Samaritan women were considered menstruant from their cradle, never good enough to be touched or spoken with. There was never a day in their life when that women will be clean enough to sit next to a Jew. And can you imagine what it must have, what it must do with a woman's self-esteem to be told every day of her life that there is something wrong with her? Can you imagine what isolation can do to a person in those circumstances, regardless of gender? Maybe we can have a glimpse of that by what happened in 2020, and maybe we can see what it feels like when we think back into those days. In that culture, women's value was based on their value as a mother. Therefore, if a woman was unable to have children, to cook, or even if that woman had some strange or like some physical abnormality, that was enough reason to end a marriage. It was simple for a man to take his wife and to take that wife to a public space and to say, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you 3 times. And that was it. That was enough. Women had no say or any way to appeal this, but the stigma of rejection will be something she will have to carry, while the man could move on without that stigma. You might have seen on the scripture in the passage that we are reading in verses 17 and 18, 5 times a man has come and promised care for this Samaritan woman, and 5 times she has been rejected. You can imagine the emptiness that she felt. She's probably tired of hearing people whispering behind her ear and reminded her that she wasn't enough. She knows her life is bad enough. She doesn't need a reminder for that. And I imagine she was tired of that culture that seems to give very little value to her humanity. So there is this conversation that starts between Jesus and the Samaritan woman. Their conversation begins with Jesus acknowledging her value by leaving cultural differences aside, by asking this simple question, this basic question: will you give me a drink? With this basic question, Jesus changes the power dynamic between the two of them. And this is a simple act, but it's so transformational. Society has always said anything. Society has always said that she has nothing to value or nothing of value to offer. But in asking this question, Jesus is teaching us a very different strategy for transformation and reconciliation. Instead of establishing a position of authority, Jesus limits his status as a Jewish rabbi, saying, I see you and I need your help. Jesus was doing what Jesus is asking us to do. And in doing this, Jesus is empowering these women. And for us, this is a moment that can be a reminder of how often enough we don't acknowledge that every person has something valuable to share with us. This is a life-changing approach that can revolutionize the way that we interact in our local community. And this can be what the church needs to transcend the boundaries of institutionalism. It's simple, it's simple. It's just by putting ourselves out there, believing that each person has value. And as this conversation continues, a human need like physical thirst becomes a metaphor leading to a more genuine and more honest conversation about what we consider important things in life. Things will always have us returning to that same position. What we consider important, they are always going to have us return to that same well. And the things that we often use to try to quench our emotional and spiritual thirst, eventually those are the same things that are taking that are the things that we unconsciously take the most important place in our lives. And we have talked about idolatry as something that relates to this. Jesus comes along and sees her, and he sees the whole of her. Jesus sees the past, the present, the future. Jesus sees who she has been, what she yearns for, how she hurts, and all that she might become. And Jesus names it all. And now now that this conversation is getting personal, she realizes that she is not talking just to another Jewish man. She says, like, I can see now that you are a prophet. I no longer want to talk about me. Maybe we can talk about something else. Maybe we can talk about religion. Let's see what's the better place to worship. Is it Jerusalem or is it this place? She tries to do that because it sometimes is easier to talk about differences than it is to talk about those things that we don't want to name out loud. It is easier to talk about who is right and who is wrong than to spend time being intentional about listening to what the Spirit wants to do or what the Spirit wants to transform in our lives. and the places and the people that have neglected to see because we are busy. We have neglected to see because we are busy doing some important stuff for us. You might be familiar with the story, with this story, and notice that unfinished, the sentence unfinished nature in verses 29 and 30, and especially given what we know about the women's story, we can see, come, she's proclaiming, come and see the man who has told me everything I ever did. And I can see that like an addition, like what hasn't been said there. This man has told me everything I ever did and loved me anyway. She does not say that those last four words, but they are implicit in her actions and in the joy in which she runs to tell everyone what she has experienced. In my theological imagination, I picture this conversation between Jesus and this woman as one in which the Creator meets creation face to face, just the same way a painter meets her canvas with no only strokes of paint, but with their entire essence, the artist's essence interacting with its creation. When Jesus looked at this woman, he saw the image of God in her, and she left this interaction knowing that she was not just seen, but she was also loved, just or who she was, like this image created. She was created in God's image. With that in mind, we have intentionally created some spaces, like reflection spaces, as you walk out of the centrum, and as you go forth today, and you are invited for the venue. You are invited to come whenever you feel comfortable, and to come and visit those spaces, and to make some reflection on those spaces in our church. You are, and those will help us to know that we are created in the image of God. And yes, you are created in the image of God. And ultimately, this conversation can be turned into something that can be replicated in our faith journey as we reflect on who in this congregation might feel like the Samaritan woman and need Jesus. But also it gives us space and the opportunity to analyze how we can act collectively to be transformed and to help transform the community in which we live.
Here is where I lay it down, every burden, every crown. This is my surrender. This is my surrender.
Here is where I lay it down, every lie and every doubt. This is my surrender.
And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to.
And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. You may sing with us.
Here is where I lay it down, every burden, every crown. This is my surrender.
Again, it's been great to be with you together today. I would remind you, we'd love to know you're here. If you want to text us, just text the word hello to the number that's at the bottom of your screen. We'd love to follow up with you, particularly if there are questions you have after today's worship, or if there's something we can do to help you take the next step in your life of faith, your journey. We'd love to be able to do that with you, to partner with you in that way. So don't hesitate to reach out. And again, if you'd like to join with us in mission and ministry here in Fuquay-Varina, you can go to our website, fvumc.org/give. We'd love your support. We'd love to partner with you in ministry in all sorts of different ways. We have plenty of other worshiping opportunities live on Sunday morning, as well as throughout the week. And so don't forget to hop over to our website, fvumc.org, to check out all those opportunities. We'd love to get a chance to meet you should the time come. And until then, it's been great to worship together with you today.